It's time-lapse time! So this is another ZBrush sketch. This time I wanted to do one of my favorite manga characters, Blackjack, the renegade doctor, with a insane price tag. So this first head that I'm sculpting now, dynamushing about, I eventually get rid of because I didn't feel like it was Tezuka enough. The proportions of the face weren't working for me. The eyes weren't really working for me. Now, Osamu Tezuka is kind of known for his big, gigantic eyes that he drew on a lot of his creations. But Blackjack is kind of different when you look at Blackjack's eyes compared to the rest of Tezuka's characters. They're kind of narrow, a little bit more narrow, and the nose structure is very swooping and weird looking. So this head started looking not at all like Blackjack. So I eventually decided to get rid of it. But I'm starting with the basic wax material and screwing around with stuff. I think this initial head form took about like a half hour to knock out before I decided, nope, gonna try it again. Which is the great thing about ZBrush. You can quickly create something and get rid of it or start over without spending too much time. Something like this, if I was modeling it in my polygon by polygon, would have taken days. I probably would have gotten a basic form the first day, and then the second day started working in some of the details. But using ZBrush in the evening after work, just screwing around, something like this is really easy to just dump out and start over again. Yeah, man, I don't know what the hell was going on. I was switching between references and nothing was really working right. So, but I did figure out poly paint. So that's a positive. Poly painting is awesome. Um, Man, I wish other programs had that. uh, Dicking around with the nose. I still have problems. So I have problems with noses and hair. I'm finding out as I'm doing more of these ZBrush sketches, but it's a process. I'm working on it. I switch a lot between perspective on and perspective off, just so I can make sure that my proportions are looking correct. So this guy isn't looking very Tezuka at all. So I decided to start over and to import some reference photos so that I would have them directly on the screen while I was working. And that seemed to work out a lot better in terms of getting the proportions correct. Now, it's difficult when you're working with manga like Blackjack or Osamu Tezuka stuff because his shapes and forms are very simple and they work well for 2D. But when you're trying to translate these weird shapes into 3D, it's a little bit more tricky. It's a little bit more difficult. So I tried my best here, but I don't know. I still think I need a lot of work on trying to figure out how to make those Tezuka proportions look, I don't know, somewhat believable in 3D. It was a good start. It was a good try. Oh, the other bad thing about this is I actually did finish the bust. I finished sculpting the hair, and I gave him a little shirt and a collar and all that kind of stuff. But I forgot to save that part. So we'll get to the first part of the hair in this time lapse, and then it'll be over, which sucks. But that's all right. I didn't really like what I did with the hair and the rest of the hair and the body anyway, so I might redo it, or I might just... Well, it is a sketch, so it doesn't have to be refined. But I'll probably revisit Blackjack sometime in the future when I have a better handle of what I'm doing. More dynamushing. I find that like doing insert meshes with the cylinder for the neck and the rest of the body, I find that and dynameshing it, I find that to be a really nice way to build up forms instead of just pulling and pushing and pulling and pushing. You could just insert stuff, insert primitives, and turn them into a solid piece of geometry with Dynamesh. So Dynamesh is awesome. I abuse the shit out of that. I find that it's really good for my workflow. And now I'm trying to match that nose swoop and then doing some scarification here. This is using the Damien standard brush, which is great for doing creases and scars and things like that. I'm also using pinch to clean those up a little bit. Some poly paint. So the way Tezuka would paint Blackjack's scar in watercolors for covers and things, it would be blue. But then sometime later it switched to brown because the friend that Blackjack took the skin off of was black. So I don't know where the blue color came from initially. But I decided to go with the blue color because, I don't know, it's more recognizable. It reads really well as Blackjack. You can instantly recognize him. But I think if I was going to go more accurate, it would be a brownish color. And here are his massive sideburns. The hair is a sphere that I dynamushed about, and I used the snake, what is it, snake move tool or something like that. I don't know. I don't like the way I did the hair. I still need to work on that, but it's a good start. I think if I was going for a more refined model, I'd use more pieces, more Dynaspheres than just, these two big things and then pulling them like that. But I don't know. It's something I still got to work on. Figure out what I want to do with the hair. It's not as swoopy as Tezuka's. There's not as many points in it. But it's difficult to translate these things into 3D. I guess if it was cosplay, it would be a wig with a lot of gel. And there are some hair and fur brushes within ZBrush that I might play around with sometime later. But for now, I just wanted to kind of quick and dirty get some massive shapes in here that would give you the impression of hair. And in silhouette, they look all right if you turn off all the lighting. I tried to do a Z-sphere model for the white part, the white tuft of hair. I eventually deleted that and started with a sphere that I dynameshed, but I'm not sure where this recording cuts off. But yeah, here's my attempt to try to beef up these shapes and make them look like the black stuff on the right. It's okay, but it ended up looking like a sea anemone, so I eventually deleted it. Like I don't like the way this is going very much. But hey, I'm learning, so you get to suffer through the learning process along with me.